Hi guys, welcome to the second tutorial of my series dedicated to Microsoft Flight Simulator. Today we are here at JFK with the beautiful Airbus Beluga XL to explore our cockpit. I chose this topic because in Flight Simulator 2020, the key and the shortcuts used to move in your cockpit to have a look at your instruments were totally different from the keys used here in Flight Sim 2024. So I wanted to give you some pieces of information related to how to explore the cockpit, how to have a closer look to your instruments, and how to manage your flight in a more efficient way. The first thing you need to know is related to your arrows, which were used in Flight Sim 2020 to move your camera in the cockpit. Now, in 2024, if I click, for example, my right arrow on my keyboard, the camera doesn't move. It just moves the point of view. So you can't move the camera position. You can just rotate your camera by keeping it in a fixed place. If you want to move your camera, for example, to have a look at your aircraft from the first officer's point of view, you need to use WASD keys. You know that WASD is maybe the most famous group of keys used to move your camera in video games, to walk, to also in the walk around mode, for example. It's used to make you walk and to make you brief your control surfaces before flight. If you want to have a look at a dedicated tutorial speaking about the walk around procedure and how to perform it in Flight Sim 2024, check the entire series of tutorials linked in the description below. Here we're gonna focus on the cockpit mode without speaking about other cameras. So if you want to move the position of your camera, of your cockpit camera, you need to press Shift and then WASD. For example, I press Shift D and the camera moves to the right. And here you have the first officer's point of view. If I wanna come back to the captain point of view, I can choose two shortcuts, two keys to press. The first thing I can do is click Shift and then A to move left and to switch to the captain point of view. Another solution is to reset my cockpit view. How can I do that? I can do that by clicking the reset button. The reset button is a specific button assigned to the action of resetting the position of the cockpit camera that you can manage in the controls option. This is the controls panel. You just need to scroll down to the camera section and then to the cockpit camera. After that, you can just set a shortcut for reset cockpit view action. In my case, I set a button of my Thrustmaster side stick. So if I click it, I'm automatically being repositioned on the captain's seat with a specific view, which in this case is just the default view of the cockpit camera. So you can use WASD to move. You can also use Q and E to go up and down with your camera. So Shift Q to go down and Shift E to go up. Okay, I reset the view, and then you can use your arrows to rotate your camera. For example, let's test some movements. I want to move right, so Shift D, and then I want to have a look at my captain, so left arrow, and then in this way I can have a look at my virtual captain. In this case I can do the same thing with the first officer, so right arrow, and here you have my beautiful first officer. You can also use Shift and your numbers. It doesn't matter if you use your default numbers or the numbers on your numpad. For example, I'm pressing Shift 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on. And I'm moving between the instrument views. So for example, Shift 1 is the view dedicated to the autopilot panel. Shift 2 is dedicated to, I think, the MCDU, the flaps, levers, the speed brake levers, the parking brakes, and stuff like that. These views, these instrument views, are a different thing from the custom views. Custom views can be set by the user, for example, by moving your camera and then by pressing a specific shortcut to ask Flight Simulator to save that position of the camera, of course, to be able to restore it in a second time. To do that, the first thing you need to do is, of course, to set again your controls. So open the controls panel, select camera, as usual, cockpit camera, and then scroll down until you find load custom camera and save custom camera. You can now set your shortcuts dedicated to custom cameras. Before doing that, try to think of the number of custom camera you need for a specific aircraft. In my case, I'm not gonna use 9 plus 1, so 10 custom cameras. Maybe I just need 5 of them. In this case, I'm not gonna set a shortcut for all 10 custom cameras. I'm just setting a shortcut for custom camera 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 in order to have just 5 shortcuts occupied by the custom camera thing. You have to set a shortcut for load custom camera and for save custom camera. In my case, for example, save custom camera 0 is Control Shift 0. Let's try to do that. So, for example, okay, this is the custom view I want to save. Okay, we said Control Shift 0. Okay, okay. Now I clicked it. I'm resetting the view by clicking the button on my controller, and then I can click, I think it was Control 0. Okay, and now, as you can see, the camera has been moved in the same position that was set when I clicked Control Shift 0. If you have maybe hundreds or thousands of shortcuts, you don't need to have a permanent shortcut for the save custom camera thing. You can just set it, and then when you save your custom camera, you can just remove it, because if you don't need to set another custom camera, so to replace the old one with a new version of custom camera 0 in this case, this shortcut will be totally useless. So you can just set this shortcut, save your custom camera, and then remove it. Because if you keep the load custom camera 0 shortcut active, you will always be able to reposition your camera according to custom camera 0. Of course, here we are just speaking about cockpit view and not of external view, fixed cameras and other things, which will probably be covered in a future tutorial. And that's all for today. I hope that this video is useful for you to set up your cockpit, to understand something more about flight sim and of course about cockpit view. Thank you and see you the next time. Bye bye.